Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bunk and Pick podcast. Pick here with Bunk. Say hello to the people. Bunk.
Hey, great googly moogly, it's Bunk.
Oh,
And we got a guest this week.
We do have a guest this week. Mr. Mike Beech is with us this week.
Hey.
Mike, say hello to the people.
Well, I said hey.
No, I want a real hello.
I thought that humanized me a little bit more. I didn't know we were doing
I need a real one. I need you to be hello, folks.
Okay, like an official. Like
I was hoping, like master style call, Jim Nance.
That's you're setting the bar way too high. I'm going to give you a like as if I was wearing a tuxedo kind of.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, yes.
I like it.
All right.
Just imagine a cummerbund.
Woo, woo. My nerves got hard. All right, so before we jump into too much here, though, I do want to ask Bunk a question. Hey, Bunk, what's something cool that happened this past week? Anything cool you did?
Very cool. So we're here in Austin. They've had the second sports card show. I don't think they've had them before. They had the second one downtown that we went to. Pretty cool to see. It's a really nice venue, and it was much bigger than it was the first time about 6 months ago. So went and walked around and saw. I will say this: it is a lot of fun to go to, but man, you got to be like laser focused that something you want to see, or else it's just overwhelming. Number one, and it starts to look like everybody honestly has the same thing.
Yes.
The one thing I did like though is I like the older vintage cards. And I was able to hook up with a guy there that I bought the first one from, and I'll give him a little shout out. He's Bleecker Street Cards, and he sells. He's got an amazing collection. He's got Satchel Paige autos and everything from that era. And so I did pick up another card from him that I was pretty excited. They got me a Whitey Ford auto from 1958. Graded card, so I was pretty pumped about it.
It was autographed. Yeah, he got a Whitey Ford autographed card, Mike. Do you know who Whitey Ford is?
I am aware. And
all right.
I know that he's not alive to give those out very often.
He is, I'm going to say...
Someone grabbed his hand from the grave and signed it.
But it was cool in talking to the guy who, at Bleecker Street. He kind of made a kind of a nice statement that kind of put it in perspective. He likes to collect the autos of the old guys. And as he said, the thing is... You knew that guy actually had to hold that card and sign it. So, he has obviously Whitey Ford has a lot of stuff out there, but for, that is a signature card. So that was the coolest thing I think I did here in the last week. A lot of fun, picked up another card for the collection and here we go.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Well, speaking of baseball.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about a sport. I feel like Mike knows a little bit about the mechanics of the sport, but I'm not sure how much you've kept up on the teams themselves.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, first, wait, before we even ask, okay, Mike, what's your favorite team? Good God, don't say it.
So I have this. We'll get further into this. It's hard for me because I'm kind of like open up the shop a little too early. But when you're close enough to the sport, it's harder to be a fan. But I'm just going to default to, we'll find out later, Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, that's 2 weeks in a row we've got Philly fans.
I thought you were going to hit us
here.
with the Astros. I was not going to like it.
No, I have standards. So, no, we're not going to go Astros. I have
very good.
Yeah,
very good.
I have standards for myself.
Okay. You're in.
Feel bad. You have the same hairstyle as the one Bryce Harper, so it just makes sense.
Man Bryce.
That's
like
true.
Bryce.
Same temper, too, so watch it.
Yeah. Bryce is awesome. Bryce is awesome. All right, I'm happy. I really thought we were going to hear an Astros, and I was not going to like that too much. But
well, now I feel bad. I feel like that would open up a lot more conversation.
No, I'm
absolutely not.
I think we're happy because what Pick's going to do is he wants to talk baseball. What he doesn't want to talk is the Yankees being as good as they are.
Dude, they were. I'm sorry, they were supposed to not be that good this year. And the Yankees? They were supposed to not be that good this year.
What did you smoke before you came here?
I'm sorry. All signs pointed to that it was going to. Hey, maybe they missed the playoffs this year, and now they're what, second place?
They're a half game behind.
Name that sign.
Oh my!
Name a sign that told you they weren't going to be good.
Let's see.
It's
flattened offensive output. Flattened offensive output. The second half of last season. They flattened out.
Win.
What do you want? You want dates?
It's a. Don't look at me with that face. I wish
dates.
people could see this
now.
No,
we can't do a super hammer down quiz show and then you not know any of the answers. We can't do that. See, this is we talked about. Like, all I am is nice to him. All I am.
It's not true
at
all.
Is nice to you, Pick, and this is all I get in return. And I just, it hurts.
Crap.
It hurts my man-bunned heart.
Since the day I met you playing poker with Sour Patch Kids all over the place,
It was a fateful day.
there's not been one day you've been nice.
I mean,
just saying.
I brought those so we could share them.
You did not. You ate them all, and then threw the dust all over the table.
Well, it helped the card slide, I thought.
Oh, it helped them slide. Everybody was so pissed off at you that night, and then you took everyone's money.
That I did clean up.
And
that was the worst possible.
That day forward, I promised myself I would knock you out at least once every time you were there, and it's been pretty true.
It has. It has not been hard to do.
And then I back off you a little bit, and you win your money back.
I appreciate that. It makes it easier to come back.
What a nice guy.
See, I am a nice guy.
He was talking about.
I'm the nice guy
talking
of this. Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, anyways, back to baseball.
All right, what do you want?
Jerks.
What do you want to know about
the Yankees
baseball?
were supposed to be the second best team
They
behind
are
the
tied
Dodgers.
with the Orioles for the best record in baseball with 70 wins.
Yes.
70-40.
So they're doing exactly what they were supposed to do.
But they're the Yankees. They need to be in first. Need to pump those.
All
up.
right, so disappointed.
I do want to bring one thing up though from Bunk's past, and I wish I had this clipped. He wasn't very sure about one Jazz Chisholm Jr., who's carrying the friggin' Yankees now.
I like him now.
Yeah, no, and it's fair to be doubtful about tall, athletic, fast people that can hit the ball a mile. Like, you should doubt.
Yeah.
them. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
No, he's an absolute. Star.
I only knew he played for the Marlins, so I didn't really see him that much.
You immediately associate anyone with the Marlins too bad.
I didn't think he was that good, but I like him.
That's exactly what he did.
I like him.
I read that mind.
I
right
even
now.
gave your boy Randy Arozarena a prop here last time.
I know. Hey, you got dementia or something?
No,
you
I'm
smelling
just saying.
toast over
I'm
there?
just saying, man. I come back around. You got to give me a minute on this stuff.
All right. How do you feel about NIL?
Yeah, I hate NIL.
You're not around all the way yet, then.
Hate it. What else you want to know about baseball? Besides the Yankees being in first.
Yankees in first. Tampa traded everybody and still hanging in there. That's pretty cool.
They're not hanging in. They're 10 games behind, but
But I'm not talking about the division.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. They've
done.
stayed at 5.5 since the
They're
trade
out.
deadline.
Out.
Oh, God damn.
They're out. I do want to say the friggin' Arizona Diamondbacks are
Making a move.
son of a bitch is coming back. God, I had him counted out. But I will say this: Corbin Carroll is not having a good.
No, but you know who
season.
is? You know who is having a good season right now?
No.
Real hot? The one and only Eugenio Suarez.
Oh boy, here we go. God, you come up with the friggin' most
That's
obscure
his
people
name
in the world, man.
That's a real person's name.
Okay, whatever. Hey, guess who the Yankees play starting this series with? Yeah, Chicago White Sox.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
sir. I was thinking we're going to be 73-49 after this little series, my friends.
That's
FYI.
oh God. If you don't sweep them,
Come on. Hey,
There's some
baseball.
problems.
Anybody can win at baseball.
they've still haven't won 30 games.
Well, I'm getting excited because we're in the home stretch. And I think my Yanks got it.
They're over 100 games in. They haven't won 30
But
of
I
them.
did say last week, if the Yanks don't win it, I would default and defer to the Phillies because I would like to see the Phillies win.
Oh.
It's a solid choice.
I think it's a solid choice. I like Bryce. I think they, if the Yanks can't do it, I hope they do.
They're an entertaining team to watch.
They're very entertaining.
They are
If
very
your team
entertaining.
falls off, just in
Well, mostly because their fans are crazy people.
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
They are fun. That was a fun team. Schwarber. I got freaking Schwarber hitting first. That's like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it.
Yes.
Schwarber is such an anomaly. I absolutely love the guy.
Yes,
I love
he
it.
is.
Like, just wait middle forever, and then get your pitch, and then somehow you're an on base guy that's not that fast. I mean, look, for the build of the guy, he's quick, but compared to us,
he's
quick.
not a leadoff hitter.
He's not a leadoff hitter. But just what, you're first up, you're probably going to get middle. So we're going to get you on once.
Yep.
Here, to put him in perspective, he was in college. He was a catcher. He got drafted as a catcher. He got to the minors and said, "Fuck learning about these staffs. I'm going to learn how to hit."
Yeah.
And he made his money hitting.
Yeah.
He's a catcher by trade. He's like the first catcher I've ever seen that said, "Fuck the catching part. I'm going to learn to hit."
Well,
And that was a bet on himself that worked out.
Then
dude, if you're not a middle infielder, you're not a pitcher, and you would like to go up a level, learn to rake.
Catcher.
Learn to rake.
Catchers. If you're a good defensive catcher, you'll have a spot on a team.
That's true. You will. You
will.
Yeah, at least
you can
at least
hit
on the bench.
You can hit 180 every year and still have
guy at least. That's true. That is
still
true.
have a role.
But I guess my bigger point is like no matter what you do, if you rake and you just learn to rake, they'll find a spot somewhere, especially in this era. Like you'll find a spot for you. And he did. He tracked it. He's a Statcast darling. Like
oh my god, he's a launch angle. He's a launch angle guy.
Absolutely, he is.
He is.
Yeah,
that's gone though. Now that style of hitting is dying.
Do you
out.
remember though when he was with the Cubs?
Yeah.
He was a platoon outfielder, and he was a freaking horrible outfielder. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but they had nowhere else. It was when they didn't have DHs, and he hit the ball so goddamn well.
No, I know.
They had to put him. He's the classic little league right fielder.
That's true.
He is the little league right. Oh god, this guy can hit, but man, he can't trust him with the leather.
Now he's just a leadoff DH, and he's
killing the ball.
Living the dream, man.
He is living the.
I'm just saying that was a hell of a bet on yourself to be like, man, fuck learning the catching side of baseball.
And he was iffy to even stay on the team. Remember, he was like in and out, and he kind of played half. Then he kind of did well in the World Series when they won.
Yeah, he said, "I'm going to learn to hit."
Yeah. And his buddy at shortstop has just shit on himself. Javi Baez he is literally
remember
the
that
worst
team they had. He's
player in friggin'
that's
MLB.
That's pretty rough.
He's a great defender. He's the worst hitter.
Okay,
ever. Better
shortstop.
Yep.
Who would you take?
Yeah,
worst hitter ever.
Okay,
or Tim Anderson.
I'd take him. I take Baez. Hate Tim Anderson.
You'd rather have the worst hitter ever.
I'd rather have the worst hitter ever.
He'd rather have the worst hitter ever.
I would because Baez can play defense.
So can Tim Anderson.
I don't like Tim Anderson. Hope he never gets signed again ever in his life.
He won the batting title 2 years ago.
Wishing ill on the man's bank account. I mean, that is.
He made his millions. He's good.
Yeah.
And Javi Baez has too, and he just can't hit. But he never could hit. So
all right. Oh no. Okay.
Shame on the friggin' Detroit Tigers.
Hang on. Knowing what you know about people.
Yeah.
Are you taking Tim Anderson?
Yeah.
Or listen.
I know who you're going to say.
Or Wander Franco.
Oh God. I don't even. No, that's not even.
You gotta pick one.
Well, I couldn't take Wander Franco. He's like a.
So you'll take Tim Anderson. So he's not the worst.
He's not the worst. I would actually take Dustin Pedroia over Tim Anderson.
Oh my, that's a second.
And I'm not a Pedroia guy.
It's not shortstop.
There's always the worst option.
Is there? Yeah. So he is one step. I'm going to give. He's one step.
So
above.
one above the 14-year-old.
Oh my God.
14-year-old assassin.
And did you notice his cards at the card show, by the way? No.
$1.
Everybody, when he signed that contract, they were paying a lot of money getting his rookie card.
Oh my God. People were spending over $1,000 for his rookie card. Overnight, it turned into being worth $1.
It's worth not even $1.
Yeah,
nothing.
It's
he'll never play again. It was useless.
There's some kid somewhere with that card in its spokes on the bicycle. It's a 1-of-1 card. It's in the spokes. They're making the motorcycle noise.
It's horrid, man. All right, very good. Anyway, let me just wrap up the baseball because I want to get to Mike stuff here.
Oh, come on. Baseball's way more fun.
We got Yankees, Orioles, Guardians in first. Freaking Houston Astros are in first.
Yeah, but Seattle's
they're actually tied with Seattle.
Seattle's going to push them.
Phillies are way ahead of Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to catch them. Brewers, and then freaking St. Louis is right behind the Brewers.
Really. I'll tell you what.
That's crazy.
But the Brewers out of nowhere this year. Their manager left because he thought they were a bad team.
I know.
Counsell left because he said there was nothing there.
Well, they're coming back.
And guess where Counsell is? Losing with the Cubs.
But he's right behind them. Same division.
Yep.
And then they're the same division. And then Dodgers.
Good job.
And then the friggin' Diamondbacks are ahead of the Padres, and the Padres have been killing the ball. They've been doing really well, and they're still in third place.
Yeah, but people have been killing the ball against them.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
They're hot. They've had some high number.
You're one negative dude, man.
That's right.
I know your buddy plays on the Padres, but give it a
Best
rest.
friend. Which one? There's two.
Manny Machado.
Oh, yeah. I do not like
I know
him.
you don't like Machado. He hates Manny Machado. And he doesn't like Fernando Tatis.
You know who I really, really don't like?
Who?
CC Sabathia.
You're kidding.
That bull crap he pulled against the Rays.
CC's a great guy.
So I lived in Cleveland during the CC Sabathia.
Were you CC Sabathia?
Was I Sabathia or Sabathia? I went back and forth. My accent changed depending on which side.
Hey, I know somebody else that does accents. I know a guy.
Hey.
Well, so explain the Sabathia hate. I want to know.
Every time he played the Rays, he purposely threw it at least 4 of their batters every single time.
Yeah, I love it.
And then he talked shit to he'd throw the ball at their player and then turn and look at the coach for the Rays and talk shit to him.
I like it.
So yeah, I don't like him.
He's a real Yankee.
Yeah.
That's what we want out there.
Yeah, is that what you want?
All right. Hey, I do have to, I got to just give you, I have to give you one more baseball story.
Oh, God.
I just got to give you a baseball story.
Is it Yankees?
It's a Yankee story.
All right. Go ahead.
Hey, so every game.
There 20 minutes and I knew it was going to be a Yankee
Every
story.
game that Judge, because this is his other favorite Yankee guy. Every game Aaron Judge plays center, he goes out and kneels in recognition of who?
The
Gardy. Gardy.
Oh, my God.
Remember Gardy?
Giant head?
Yeah, Gardy.
My God. That man's head grew every single year.
He loved him. He said he was like one of his best friends.
Do you think those ridiculous Ray-Ban glasses you had on would fit Gardy's head?
Okay, we're not talking about it.
I just brought them up.
No, they wouldn't fit his head.
They wouldn't fit his head.
I'm just saying, he loves.
They poke his eyeballs out. They poke his eyeballs out because they're not wide enough.
Gardy's a good guy.
Stupid ass Martian head.
Gardy was a good guy. Had a giant head, but he was a good guy.
Huge head.
All right.
What a jerk.
That was it.
All right. Can we get off baseball now?
Yeah, let's go.
We
Let's
understand
move it. I'm
your
waiting
team
on
is
you,
good.
man.
You're such an ass.
Come on.
You know that?
Move it.
You're a real ass.
Move it.
I'm sorry you have to deal with this in person, Mike.
This is making my afternoon and tomorrow morning for me. So this is supplying me plenty of entertainment. This is fine. This is good. I'm building up a database here.
Hey, we got to get to some of Mike's stuff because I'm going to tell you, you know stuff about stuff we don't know anything about.
A lot of stuff nobody knows anything about.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
So Mike is with us today because we just finished up the Olympics, and there's a lot of Olympic style events that you've kind of done over the years, right?
Dabbled.
That's a good one. Yeah. Dipped your toe into all these things.
Wet his beak.
Wet his beak.
Wet his beak.
How many
Wet
of these?
beak.
How many of these sayings can we do before we actually get to anything?
Right. And well, let's see. Or for me, it was how many I can do before all my ligaments give out was really the race for me. Like, how many of these sports can I?
I'm not talking about the sports. I'm talking about the wetting his beak, dipping your toe.
How many sayings? How many sayings? Same thing.
Look, we're going to go with wet his beak, and then we move on.
No, we understand that that's what you want, Bunk, you jerk. All right. Anyways.
So what do you guys like in the Olympics? Like, because I'm an Olympic nerd. I have been for a long time. I love it. I subscribe to Peacock just for that.
I can tell you one thing that Bunk doesn't like.
No, I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to have a separate section I'm going to bring up later, and
I do want to hear your.
All right, let's hear
thoughts. Nope. Now we're going to wait for it. Apparently, we got to wait for it now for the old man.
After you just wet my beak.
I know.
No, we're going
to tie it. All right. So you do throw sports, shot put, discus type things.
Yes.
You also do archery, right?
Yes.
Semi-pro archery, is that correct?
Yeah, semi-pro 3D archer.
Very, very cool. So what, I guess the first question really is, those are kind of off the beaten path sports. What got you into those things?
Well, so I grew up playing baseball. I was in a baseball household. So that's why I can at least hang with you guys for 30 seconds on baseball. I'm glad you moved on quickly. I appreciate that. It saved me a lot.
We dominated the conversation for you.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm happy to let you do it. But no, I grew up in a baseball household. The major reason was that I wasn't that good at baseball. I topped out in high school. Like, I was a right-handed pitcher that just touched 80 miles an hour in Texas. And I don't know if you know much about Texas baseball. And I went to a 5A high school. That doesn't really do it. No. But I made up for that by having no breaking ball. So that it's a balance. Right?
Yeah. So the straight ball's the hardest to hit.
Yeah. And especially when they see it over and over again, it gets much harder every time. After that third time they see it, they just get worse, right?
What really gets them is when the changeup is only 2 miles an hour less.
Check my circle change, bro. Cool, man. I guess it rotated a little different. Proud of you. No, that's really where a lot of it started. So my big brother was the real ball player in the family. He played in the big leagues for 3 years. He's 7 years older than me. But we lived and breathed baseball, like when we were younger, for sure. And after I, finished in high school, there's no real track for me. I had the potential, I had an offer to go play junior college ball only because my brother would play there. And I could have maybe topped out at a D3 school. And at the same time, I was accepted to the University of Texas, just academically. It's like, you know what? I think a better decision might be just to go to school.
Yeah.
So, and then I met my wife there, which makes it a much better decision because now all coast and all good. But no, so in the course of just life, I kind of went through, I do every 10 years for a while, I do what I just affectionately call a do whatever phase. I kind of I get restless and I want to try everything around me. I want to try, especially sports, travel, anything like that. I want to try everything. And I really focused in on sports a lot of the time because I had this background of growing up around sports and, being reasonably athletic, not really, reasonably. One half of my body at a time is athletic. That's a good way to look at it. But I decided, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Since I'm in college, I'm going to take a different PE class every semester. I'll just do a different thing. So I took Taekwondo my first semester. So I do have a yellow belt in Taekwondo. So fucking watch yourself. All right. So
hey, I'm a Philly fan, man.
No, Philly fan. But then the next one I took fencing, Olympic fencing. And I fell absolutely head over heels in love with that sport. I loved it. It was weird. It was wild, but it was explosive. It had an element of danger, and there was a lot of competition. There were levels to it. It was an Olympic sport. I loved it. I absolutely fell in love. So I did it all through college. I won a state championship doing that in college, and then I kind of continued to chase it for off and on 10 years, trying to get into the wiggle my way into the Olympic pipeline doing that. And I kind of petered out at the North American Cup level. Kids that were 14 years old were beating me, and I figured, okay, maybe this is a sign that it's time. This kid's faster than me, and also has a lot more time to train. So yeah, it was all that. So next, do whatever phase comes around, and I get really into lifting and really into strength sports, and so I'm just lifting for strength, fitness, aesthetics, vanity, all that kind of good stuff. But I kind of stumble into powerlifting. Do that for a little bit. Turns out you have to be very strong to be good at that. So that was off. That was off the table. I couldn't do that. And I did strongman, and strong is right there in the name. So it was fun. I did some shows like middleweight, lightweight, stuff like that, but nothing really doing. I wasn't strong. I stumbled into this Highland Games thing though. Scottish Highland Games. So heavy athletics, it's called in Scotland. It's basically ancient track and field. You throw 9 different events. If you guys have ever seen, you watch the Discovery Channel, they'll have some big dude with a goatee throwing a caber.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's the premier event, but there's 8 other events around that. They involve stone throws, weight throws, hammer throws. You're throwing stuff for height, and then you're throwing that caber. So these happen all around North America, all around Scotland. It's kind of like a cheat code for washed up athletes. It's pretty fantastic because you can go pro in it. You get travel paid for it. You can make some money doing it. And there's no other place in my life that at, whatever I was between 32 and 42 years old, that I could go play a sport and a couple thousand people would cheer for me. That doesn't happen anywhere ever. But I found this one thing. It's this weird thing that happens at festivals all around North America, happens next to a funnel cake truck. And, people are drinking beer watching you, but there's 2,000 of them, and they're like, woo, when you throw something far.
That's cool.
They don't know how far it's going. They're just happy to see somebody throwing something or doing something weird. So it was a great cheat code. I traveled as a pro athlete, won a couple championships. I threw in the lightweight class, which you'll find kind of hilarious because you guys did talk a little bit about following fight sports, which have different. So there's 2 weight classes in Scottish Highland Games. There's lightweight and everybody else.
Well, I was wondering because I know when I watch it, those guys, the guys that I've run like ESPN or whatever, they're huge guys.
Yeah, they're a motto boy size.
They're gigantic.
A motto boy size.
Yeah, that's big boys.
But I've never seen
I'm the
lighter
small
weight
one.
though.
Yeah, he's the baby. But yeah, so I was in the lightweight class, but the lightweight class is 200 and under. So lightweight is 200 pounds. So that it's, so I would, the latter half of my career, that's where I competed because I just don't have the genes to get big. Yeah. I'm tall, I'm lanky, I can hold enough weight, but I can't beat a 330 pound monster like these guys are. I don't have the right appetite. I can't do it. So, but yeah, I had a really great time doing that. And then I retired from that in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. I retired from that fairly recently. I still coach. I coach a lot of athletes in that. And then I coach my son in discus and shot, and then a couple other kids as well, basically in our neighborhood. I do that. So, and that's kind of where the throwing comes from now. It's really cool for me that my son throws discus. He throws for Round Rock High School. And I love that he does it because it's like my kid doing my thing. He also plays baseball, but that's like less my thing. That's more my brother's thing, which is great because my brother has helped him a ton because my son's a pitcher as well. Helped him a ton, but it's like there's kind of like it kind of touches my heart a little bit because he really loves throwing the discus, throwing the shot, and that's kind of like Dad's thing. And there's like a pride that goes along with that. So,
well, let me ask you: did you watch the shot put in the Olympics?
Absolutely.
So those, I was watching. It started raining there right at the like at the end.
It was a shit show.
But. So those guys were throwing. I don't think they hit any records, right?
No, they wouldn't.
No, does Krauser still have the record though?
Yes, he does. Yeah. He has the world record, and 23. You'd have to look it up. I can't remember what it is now, but I firmly believe everybody knew it was Krauser's to lose, right? Everybody knows that, and I think he had the record locked and loaded, and he knew that he could set his own record. That's just a feeling. I don't know Ryan. I'm friends with Ryan, but I've never met him.
Oh, okay.
But I think based on what I know personally and just watching him, I think he had it in his back pocket. The way he's been throwing, the new way he threw, the style of throw with that new slide.
Yeah, the slide step.
I think he's got it. But I think if you watched in qualifying, he took one throw and he said no, I'm done. Yeah. And that was it. But he threw 70. He qualified on the first throw, threw 70, 20, 21 or 22, something like that. I think he just touched 22. And he was good. But I think the rain fucked it up.
Yeah.
I think because if you notice, he went on his final 2 throws, or 3 throws maybe, he went back to the stop technique where he's not doing the full technique. So the throw that he won the gold with, he did his new Krauser slide or whatever. But no, I think the rain absolutely affected everything.
Yeah, it seemed like almost everybody fouled at the last 2 or 3.
And so 2 things come out of that for me. You see Walsh from New Zealand hurt himself. He pulled his groin, and that's purely due to the rain. You can't have guys that weigh 280 to 350 moving that fast on a slick surface and expect that somebody doesn't get hurt.
Right.
A couple of those dudes hit the ground.
Oh yeah.
And boys hitting that size hitting the ground. I mean, you play football growing up, right? Like a little bit. O-line guys hitting the ground.
Yeah,
everybody comes over and helps them up. You don't want to end up on the ground at that size at high speed. And it happened. And then probably the most impressive thing, the best storyline is Kovacs, who got the silver medal from the U.S., pulled his final throw just out of sheer will, pulled it out of his ass. I want to say pulled it out of his ass because that downplays the amount of training it takes to do it. But the fact that he came from 4th or 5th place to silver in a throw in the rain when no other indicators were there that he was going to throw that way, he did. And I've only podcasted you all the once, so I don't know how deep we go into the bad language, but I'm going to go ahead and say
you can go.
There's a thing with throwers that was for all the marbles, that was to try to get on the podium, and he motherfucked that throw. Is all he did.
We're going to mark that so we can
flag that. But you guys are more aware when an athlete just says hey, technique's out, planning is out, everything's gone. I'm going fast and hard and doing it as hard as I can, and it worked. Most times it doesn't work when you do that.
No, of course not. Just like in most sports, if you swing as hard as you can, the ball's going to go 2 feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golf, you're not going to drive the ball far without it.
But I mean, we absolutely live for those moments where they take the governor off and say, you know what, there's no choice.
Yeah.
I have to go as hard as I possibly can right now. And it was really cool to watch. That
was fun. I will say, I know you asked, I will tell you, so we had just gotten back from Europe, so we were 6 hours, Europe over there, I was 6 hours ahead. So I was waking up 3 a.m. when we came back.
Yeah.
And at 3 a.m, the Olympics were starting. And my favorite sport to watch was archery.
Oh, really?
I mean,
now you got me interested.
I kind of got into it, man. And, they would show the close-ups of the men or the women shooting, and then they would show where it landed. It wasn't for a while until they actually kind of panned back, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are
70 meters.
I mean, it's a long distance.
70 meters.
And when I saw that, I was even more impressed. But I got to tell you, I didn't quite understand all the things that were on the bow. They had a big weight thing.
Well, how far do you want to go?
I mean, but it was to me, I was I watched almost every single one of those.
Isn't it wild, too? Because on the surface, it doesn't seem like a very spectator-friendly sport. It's a drawback, a hold, and then something appears on a target. But I think it's just there's something in human nature that we can realize how difficult that is to do. There's something in us that's that seems like I could not do it.
Well, also with a sport that it's one person, and you as a fan feel the pressure grow.
That's well said.
And then you feel the release. That's why I like soccer.
Yeah.
And people are like, soccer people, because it's all build up.
Yes.
But the thing about soccer and hockey is there can be no release. It can tie at the end.
Yes,
there can be zero release, and you could be just built up pressure, pissed off, almost freaking blue balled on the.
And so I don't know if you got to watch the gold medal match in men's archery. So it was Brady Ellison versus Kim Woo-jin from South Korea. South Korea is a juggernaut.
South Korea is a juggernaut
in archery. Brady Ellison seems to not know that. Brady Ellison is a stud, man. And I'm an archer, but I'm also like a hunter, outdoorsman. And the nice thing about Brady Ellison is he's one of us. Like the dude has a fish hook in his hat, and he's like a hunter. He's a little bit of a redneck, and I love it. Because he's an absolute stud of an archer. But he didn't get the memo about being intimidated by Korean archers. Nobody told him that he should be. But the gold medal match, talk about the inability to tie. You can't tie in archery. So what it went to was after they tied, after all the sets were done, they go to a single arrow shoot off. Who is the closest to the middle, and that decided. That's how Woo Jin won it. And it was, maybe 3-4 centimeters. That's 70 meters that decided it. I was in Asheville, North Carolina this last week when we were watching it, and I was like out of my seat. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit more of an archery fan, but it's just one of those things. Like you get involved in it. Yeah. Even the people that were with me were like on the edge of their seat watching, and they never watched archery before. It was.
I watched the South Korean women. I think they've won every gold. They've won every gold medal. But even that match, I think it was the gold medal where it went to the shoot off.
Yeah, they did.
But those women they're so calm.
Their resting heartbeat's got to be 30.
They put the heart rate monitor on the screen.
Yeah, they did,
and I love it. Yeah. Like people, they're up there like gold medal match. 80 beats a minute.
I know. Like, but that's elevated.
I'm at 106 right now.
That's just you, Mike.
that could be a clotting. It could be the plaques.
Get on that baby aspirin, my friend.
Just one a day is all you need, man. Just get yourself right.
It's good for your heart.
Yeah, no, I loved having the heart rate monitor because it's like that constant joke you hear about the Olympics. Like, put just a regular person out there.
So if you get massacred.
And then, dude, I'm telling you, like, I play semi-pro ball, right, in archery, and I would be heart pounding through the roof. Couldn't hear from my heart pounding in my ears on that stage. And those, it's incredible.
It was, I got to tell you, once I got into it, I was just like, I had Peacock too. I had it so I could watch, and I was watching. I said, "Where's the archery? And I was watching. But I'm just telling you, when they panned out, I had no idea how far they were actually shooting. I wish
they would make that more apparent. I really did. I wish they would make that a bigger part of it.
That's why I like. And this is Winter Olympics, but they do this ski biathlon or whatever it is, and they have to stop and shoot after skiing for 2 straight miles.
That's cool.
Like, and they do the heartbeat thing there too, and it's like, my God, if it was me, I'd be throwing up after skiing uphill for 2 miles.
Yeah,
I got to shoot a target that's like.
And I would hope the shooting range was on a downhill portion so I could just slide into it, so I could rest for a little bit. No,
those archers are like. It is crazy. So 80 beats per minute is actually super elevated for them. They're just like machines, man.
Yeah, that was a fun. And the other sport I was watching the table tennis.
Oh, who doesn't love that, dude?
And then the guy who wasn't supposed to ever lose, there was a guy from, God, where was he from? Australia? I can't remember where he was from. Sweden?
I'm not sure.
Took him right to the end there. But that dude too, he was so calm. From China.
That's why I like the badminton. I like badminton. I like the badminton more than the.
Before this last one,
I like that a lot more than the ping pong personally.
Yeah,
it's fast, but not fast at the same. Right, how can you have a sport that's so fast yet going at 1 mile an hour? I don't get it.
Like when they slam at every shot, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's going to kill somebody."
I know.
And then it just kind of flutters.
Just slows down.
No, like the racket sports, I definitely dig. I actually like. I've realized because I've always been like a big Wimbledon lover. Like I've always made time to like when Wimbledon comes on. Like a bit like since I was a kid, I watch it. I'm a big tennis fan. I even owned a tennis game for the PlayStation, man. That's how serious I was about it. Like, but I never played, by the way. I'm not a tennis player at all. But I prefer watching table tennis now in the Olympics.
It's fun, man.
The speed and I guess the ridiculousness of it a little bit.
It is very ridiculous. Yeah. The doubles is unbelievably ridiculous.
Like so much body in such a small space.
Yes.
Yeah, Kudos to them.
Well, they were slowing it down, like showing the rotation, because you can't see the rotation.
No.
And they were like, "Oh, did you see that rotation?" I was like, "No, I didn't see it." And they'd slow it down, and I was like, "Holy shit,
didn't see shit."
No, I did not.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a sport that's a cross between ping pong and soccer.
Oh, it's the kick volleyball. Yes.
It's so like, the table is on a curve.
Oh my God.
And there's a net in the middle.
What?
Can't use your hands. Can use your feet, legs, and head.
And the table is
it's curved. So when it hits, it bounces to you.
My God.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's.
I can't remember, but it is.
I've not
it is.
heard that one.
People are doing jump backward flip bicycle kicks to land on the other side.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. I would check that one out too.
I've never seen that.
That's my favorite ping
pong. It's one of those things, if you're in like the right bar or restaurant at the right time of day, it'll be on somewhere. You'll be like,
ESPN the Ocho, my friend.
Dude, I live for the Ocho. You can tell my whole hobby.
I know, man.
Everything the Ocho.
Your face is lit up right now. You're so happy.
You said the Ocho. I'm like, let's turn it on.
So back to baseball. No, I'm just kidding.
Not baseball. Hey, did you? So as an ex-lifter, I did not actually see any of the weightlifting. Did you watch any of the weightlifting?
Not much this year. I usually do watch a lot, but this year I didn't watch a lot of the weightlifting. I think that's I'd probably just burn out on it. I'm in that post retirement phase where I don't work out that much anymore. Yeah. Like I used to have to do it, so I didn't. The prospect of getting embarrassed on the field of play will really get you into the gym.
Yeah, 100%. That's yes.
That'll really get you in there.
But then when sports end, you're like, nah, I like pizza.
Yeah, no, that food is great. And have you guys tried sitting down? It's fantastic.
What is this sitting you talk of?
So tell me. So you do, and I'd never heard of this. So you do 3D archery.
Yes.
What is that?
That is, yeah. So it's a video game. No, I'm kidding.
He wears the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
The Meta Quest
on the porch.
Actually, I got really good at the Nintendo Wii, so I never went VR. 3D archery is a discipline that's born out of the fact that archery is a hunting sport. So what you watch in the Olympics is, I'm not saying in a negative way, but it's very sterile. It's removed from the roots of the sport. It's not a hunting thing anymore. Right. It's about accuracy. It's pure accuracy. So what 3D archery does is it puts us out on a course, and we literally shoot at toys, basically. We shoot at foam animals. Okay. These are like, poured foam targets that are like these nice self-healing rubberized foam. And they have target areas on them. Depending on which league or what association you shoot with, the targets can change a little bit. But then you're basically, you walk to the first target, you shoot, but you're shooting in the woods. And you have like a certain shot set up. The elevation changes. You're shooting up, down. You're shooting around obstacles you have to find. You're dealing with the elements, whatever they are. 1 foot may be up higher than the other, et cetera, et cetera. Shoot that, score it, move on to the next one. You got to hike, 100 yards or something like that to the next one. Shoot again, shoot again, shoot again. And then, the big ones, the pro-ams, they'll shoot 20 targets a day for 2 days. And then the pros will do a shoot down, which are actually really fun. If you guys ever just wanted to go total ESPN the Ocho, you can find this on YouTube, Competition Archery Media, I think it's called. They do the 3D pro shoot downs. It's a blast because the top 5 people from that day, the top 5 pros go to a shoot down. And they take their final scores, and they have, they basically, whoever they are on the top 5, sometimes 3 of them are tied, some, et cetera, et cetera. And they're shooting these different targets, and the targets are worth, depending on where you hit, I won't go too deep into it, but it's generally 10s, 12s, 14s, and then misses are 8s or 5s. So all these weird multiples of scores make all this crazy stuff happen where, people can jump back and forth. So I got into that just because I started getting more into target archery, and I didn't want to lose touch with the hunting part. I like being outside a lot. Standing at the line and shooting just kind of it wears on me after a while. So being out there and shooting 3D animals is really good. We got a great, you've got a great league here in Austin. We got a gregreat archery club in Austin outdoors.
That's what I was going to ask. So the things you've done, I mean, I don't want to say that right, but there's communities out there, but I you would just have to kind of know.
You have to search. You have to search for it.
Well, I really love attention. So that's the first part. So I put myself out on social media a lot. And whenever I'm doing something, I'm not afraid to put it out and say hey, here's my new thing. I'm doing this. Let's do this together. And then eventually people say, you know what you should check out? You should check out this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then you end up getting linked in with people. It's pretty organic, all things considered. But yeah, there's a lot of Googling involved for sure. And when you're dealing with small time hobbies pursuits, you're going to deal with websites that were built in 1998. and you have to work your way through bad technology and everything. But you find good people, and it ends up working out pretty well. So yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's here in Austin, right? I mean, it's in the Austin area. You kind of can find leagues and do all these things.
And it's another thing where I can travel and do it. It's another thing where I can, you make good network connections with people, and like you end up going to events and all that kind of good stuff.
That is cool. We're in a bowling
the bowling league.
Oh yeah.
And we did that. I hadn't bowled since I was in like high school.
Yeah.
And we kind of say, hey, let's get into this. So it was me and Miss Bunk, and we had pick. Gary was in it. We had like different teams, and our daughter was in it. And we did that for one, I don't know, season or whatever it's called. And hadn't really done that in the league before. But it's almost like when you do that, you're in this like totally different world.
Oh yeah.
It's people who, well, there's some really hardcore ones, but it's like a whole, I don't even know what, it's like a different, like you wouldn't even know that if you just went on a Saturday and wanted to bowl.
I think the Big Lebowski was onto something, because I spent a lot of time in bowling alleys, and whoever wrote that movie had spent a lot of time at league night.
Oh,
they know what league night is, right? There's a hierarchy, there's cliques, there's a whole...
Man, there was one Mike.
We ran into some really.
There's one guy who couldn't tell you his real name. We give people nicknames. I don't know if you noticed that, but he was Lumpy Rutherford.
I called him.
That's actually a good turn of the century baseball name. You should pin that. That's
bowling against him. Hey, he took 9 million hours to bowl.
Yeah,
right?
You were going to be the last ones done when he bowled.
He ordered tater tots. Right. Got to his table, counted them, went back up, said, I'm supposed to have 14. You only gave me 13.
Wow.
Tater tots.
And we're all kind of looking like, what? Where are we? What is going on right now?
That was the moment. That was the moment. Everybody was like, oh yeah, this is what bowling league is.
God. In a bowling league now.
It was a blast.
That is delicious. Thank you for that.
13 instead of 14, my friend.
Lumpy J. Rutherford.
Yeah,
hey, look, he's trying to perform at a high level. He needs consistency.
My God.
He needs his nutrition.
You wanted to punch him, because when he bowled, everybody else is finishing up. He would take didn't want to be rude, but it's like, dude, it's your turn. Get the fuck up and bowl.
It's 11 o'clock at night already.
Looking at your phone. But clearly he had nowhere to go.
Right.
Guy had nowhere to go.
That was it. And just so you're aware, whatever you're imagining in your head for Lumpy Rutherford is 100% correct.
I nailed it, and visually, mentally. Yeah.
He did.
I had a feeling. Yeah.
It is. It was a human.
Yeah, oh my God. That was amazing.
One of the people of all time.
He was one of the 6 billion of us.
Yep, he was
and we saw him.
Oh boy,
we saw him.
It's like half melted ice cream cone.
Bowling League typifies it wonderfully, because that's kind of what I love about all like the weird like ESPN, the Ocho sports that you get into, is like the community, but the weird ass but also awesome people you can meet.
Yeah,
that's worth it all. Like I've made like personal connections, professional connections, all that kind of stuff, or just like you guys have with Lumpy, I have stories about people that defy explanation for all time. Like they all exist. Look, I've thrown in the middle in Highland games. I've thrown in the middle of Renaissance fairs, and that is a true experience. If you ever want to, it's not a hostile crowd. It's just a crowd that you have to keep your distance from, because so what happens at a Renaissance fair when you're throwing in the Highland games, by the way, they're messing up their timelines by getting us there. I get it why they want us there. It's fun. It's fantasy. We're like cosplaying a little bit already when we're there, but but it's a bunch of like washed up track athletes and like people from other sports and strength athletes that are not actors and performers. And then you're putting them in the middle of a field of actors and performers who are like doing these big characters with these crazy costumes. So if you stand too close to the edge, like if you stand close to the border, somebody will come up to you in like a dragon costume or like a big bustier and be like, "Good day, sir. Would you?" And then you're like, "Oh God, I'm pulled into this now." Like hail and well met. Like, yeah, man. Hey, what's up? So over time at the Ren fairs, you see the experienced athletes all just like huddle in the middle of the field. Like we just all get in like a small circle in the middle because nobody can reach us or talk to us at that point. Awesome. But there's one here in Texas. I think Sherwood Forest Fair. I think that still happens in Texas.
Oh yeah,
they had games there forever. By the way, 2013 2013 right here. In case you guys, I know you're Star Truck.
I'm looking it up right now. You Googleizing it.
I got the trophy in the bed of my truck. You guys want to see it? But yeah, so what you would do at the end of it, though, if you win, they take you up to the top of the castle wall. And you meet the king.
Oh.
And you have to
at Sherwood Forest Fair?
Yes. And they like do like a whole ceremony where they like knight you.
Oh
and, like,
my God.
With or without the smoked turkey leg?
If you're smart, you're grabbing on the way.
That's an important part of this.
Takes way longer than you expect, so grab the turkey leg on the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a much longer ceremony than you want.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so then word gets out about that. And when somebody wins, we tell them, like, hey, get out of here. Go. You gotta get to your car. Take your prize and get to your car. You're done. Yeah, so that's...
I like it.
Again,
it is pretty
Fringe sport people, man. That's part of it.
There are some very fun things out there, though. Very fun things.
Oh, absolutely. And like again, like most of, I think what anybody should do, and especially what I've done, is just try to collect stories. Like that's really all you get. I think I'm gonna blow all my money. Like I'm gonna forget most of the names of the people that I know, but if I'm like on my deathbed and I can have like 10 cool stories to tell before I go, then I won.
Absolutely,
I can pass it on. That's all people are gonna.
Well, you do a lot of different things. I will say you've done things that most people have not done.
Well, I take that as the highest compliment.
No, it is.
Well,
it's
absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't have the balls to just go try stuff. Honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to show them suck, right?
Well, no. The first thing we're humans. We're all about what other people perceive of you. Yeah. I mean, every human is. So the first thing you're going to be like, well, I got to tell people I do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not in a bad way at all, but like,
yeah, how do I broach this?
Seriously, I think it's awesome that you're just like, fuck that. I'm going to go do what I want to do.
And just probably just researching it online and not actually until it's just like, hey, that looks freaking cool. I'm going to go try to give that a shot.
Well, I think what happens too is with any of this stuff, and I'm so drawn to these kind of sports, is that just like, with y'all, like your mind for sports takes over. Like you really start thinking about like, hey, what do good performers do? Like what is their stat line look like? What are they working on? Where do the best people come from? What's the best body type? Like you start thinking about all that, and it makes it like your own fantasy sport basically is what it makes it become.
Absolutely.
Like it becomes like your own. You can be like, man, if I can work on this, I can become better. Like it becomes a little video game RPG like over time. You're like building up different skills in life, but yeah, at a certain point, like you start following all your little weird hobbies, like you do major sports. Like it's supplanted a lot of major sport following for me. Like I was, a big, huge fantasy football guy, but that kind of faded as a lot of this stuff started happening. And it's like, but I can tell you all about the shot put final.
Yeah, which is awesome.
That is actually really cool. It's nice to branch out and not because baseball, football, basketball, soccer. I mean, those are kind of the things, but there's whole communities that do a lot more than that out there. Oh yeah,
but look, there's a reason those major sports are major sports, right? They encapsulate all the good things that a lot of these smaller little niches do.
Yeah,
like they have all of it at once, and a lot of money in marketing, and a lot of drama, and like you get to know the personalities. Like I'll never be one of the people that shits on major sports at all because I'll stop and watch just as well as anybody else would. I put in my time. Like it's an extremely human pursuit. It's something that I don't know. Like it's weird to me that somebody would not be entertained by sports in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I think but you also have a sport. I've definitely met people who are like I have a hard time because I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
You have to invest the time to learn the rules.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
With any sport.
Well, and baseball especially.
For sure.
I've gone through now, like, with raising a son playing baseball these years, I've had a wife that didn't grow up in a baseball family at all. And through the years of like a decade or so or more, it's like watching her have to learn the ins and outs of baseball. It's like, man, is this that complicated?
It is complicated. There's a lot that's going on. You don't understand. Same with like football.
Oh, God,
like American football. Really, what American football is a game of chess between two coordinators.
Yeah. Really?
All those players are your chess pieces. Yes, they are the ones making all the money. Your quarterback has to make the decisions, but you're feeding him those decisions that he's supposed to make in certain situations.
Yeah.
Every single person there, they are a pawn in this game.
And that's,
and
I've
so
never
when you
heard,
think
I've
of
never
it
heard
that
put
way,
that's real. I really like that because it's like almost and like the flattening of talent in the NFL that makes sense. And not saying that in a bad way. It's just that being super talented is the minimum. Being super athletic and talented and capable is the minimum now.
Well, when you look at the NFL and why the top coaches are so impressive, it's because they all have the same talent pool.
Yeah.
All those teams, you might not have the best quarterback, but you'll probably have the best running back. You might not have the best offense, but you have the best defense.
You have one of the best 30 on the planet is what you have.
Right. Yeah. So the best coaches take their pieces on a chessboard and say, maybe my queen isn't very strong, but my pawns are.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack you with pawns.
Yeah.
Stop them. Tell you stop them. That's when I'll switch.
Yeah.
But it really is just this almost like a board game setting for two people.
Yeah.
These guys are up above. They're in that suite looking down at the field with the headphones on.
True.
They're talking down to the players so that they call the right play. It's a chess game. Yeah. Honest to God, it's two guys thinking through how to beat the other.
Yeah, and they're also the players. You're right. There is very little. I'm sorry.
The gap is not big.
Mahomes is a great quarterback, but the gap between him and anybody else is really small. They're all unbelievable.
Right. You take the gap between, say, Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, there's
not much there. And then you take the gap between the number one college quarterback through the number 133. That gap is unbelievably big.
Yeah.
So it just shrinks the talent share. And there's a reason 0.01% of football players are in the NFL. It's because everybody there has that talent.
And even the gap compared to what it was in the 90s and early 2000s is massive.
Oh man, it's huge.
That's the era I came up in, like really watching football and being all in. Like now when I come back and watch now, it's like all the wide receivers are that good now. Like, there's not a number 3 guy that you don't throw too much. Like, there's not, okay, like, cool. I guess everybody's an absolute Olympic level stud now.
Right. They are. And I'll tell you, I obviously a lot older than you guys, but when I used to watch in this, I was a big Dolphin fan back in the 70s. But the biggest difference I see today is every single play, there's some guys, they all go 110, they go full speed, even at the end of the play.
No one takes off any
and I'm
second
like,
of it.
holy crap, every single play, those guys are taking their body full speed into, and I now there were some big, strong guys back in the old days, but I don't remember the speed like it was. The speed and the ability, that speed can cause a lot of damage when you hit somebody. Yeah. It's just amazing.
There are 300-pound human beings running faster than a 5-second 40-yard dash.
Honestly, I'm surprised more
getting
guys
hit
don't
by
get
that
hurt. I mean,
that's
I know.
Well, and speed wasn't trained for most of the existence of football, most of this existence of sports outside of track and field.
Right.
The idea of being fast was like you either are or you aren't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're either Dion or you're not.
But now, like, if you
train speed.
Yeah, I don't know if you have Netflix or not, but they did a series called Sprint. And it's all about the track sprinters. So Sha'Carri Richardson, Noah Lyles, all those guys.
Yeah.
And Gabby Thomas, all of them are on there. All of the Jamaicans are on there.
Yeah.
And they show you, like, hey, yes, you're naturally faster than everybody else, but so is the guy next to you.
Right.
Here's the small techniques that make you literally 1/10 of a second faster than that guy.
Yeah, which is
that's what it is. It's
not.
tiny margin, which is
amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that just didn't exist in previous eras, and that stuff filters into the NFL. And now everybody at the combine is running just like an Olympic sprint.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
They're running exactly like an Olympic sprint.
Well, tying it back to the Olympic sports we talked about with you, that's why it's such an anomaly to see someone like Ryan Krauser.
Yes.
Absolutely dominant. There is a noticeable difference between him and the next person. When most sports, there's no noticeable difference.
Yeah.
There's a mental preparation difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is just better than everybody.
He is. And you know what? It's not to downplay what Krauser did, but this is another thing that also ties back to football as well. And also, honestly, a lot of what's happening in baseball, body type. But one of the things that Krauser does really well is big.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
Big.
He's huge.
He's not the biggest shot putter ever, but in this era, in this everybody rotates, and everybody is high level, explosive, and fast. Also, with being the big, he's bigger than them.
Yeah,
and adding that to it, and it's funny. You watch him through the ring; he doesn't look as fast as everybody else. Like everybody else is like Tasmanian devil style going through there, and he looks like he's walking. But when he gets to the front, that body goes to work. And that's the other thing, like on the other side of speed is, in all major sports, like that is really big has become the dynamic.
Yeah,
like it's hard, like mixed martial arts, same thing. Like it's like size, you can't, it's untrainable. Like it's you're either born with it or you're not.
Right.
And that's
right.
I think another thing is the size of NFL players, the size of middle infielders would blow people's minds.
Oh, man, especially middle infielders.
Yeah.
Look, you're looking at shortstops over 200 pounds. Like
6'4".
you're 6'3", 6'4", 210.
Yeah. Turns out having a really long reach and being explosive helps.
I mean, look at the fastest guy in baseball, Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Yep.
Dude's 6'6".
Yeah, like huge.
He's
he
like
would
two
never
something.
Play shortstop in the old
Absolutely
days.
not.
Never would have
Right,
put him
he's
short.
right fielder.
I mean,
he's
Cal
the
Ripken
body
was
type
like
of a right fielder.
Cal Ripken was a ridiculous size shortstop.
Yeah,
back
he was all the scouting report was always too big.
Yeah. He's third baseman. Throw him over third.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is. That's like A-Rod went through all that too.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
Oh,
it's very positionless now.
You made the case that A-Rod was a prototype too before the time.
No, he was as big of an a-hole as he was. No, for real,
he was. No, I don't know.
He was an ass.
He set a new standard in that too. He said
he was an ass.
Yeah,
but
which is a high bar in Major League Baseball. I just want to say.
I'll say this.
High bar.
I'll say this. He's the first athlete that I saw, and I'm sure older athletes did this too, but he was the first athlete that I really, when I was paying attention to sports, that was an absolute asshole to literally everyone, but the only person that everybody respected, because he could be an asshole, but I'll tell you what,
he performed.
He never didn't perform. And when he didn't perform, he was the first person to tell you he didn't perform.
Yeah, he was an ass, though.
He was an ass, but I do respect him.
He was really, really good.
I do respect him.
I mean, he never had consecutive seasons where you would say, man, that contract wasn't worth it.
No.
And
and those were contracts.
And like then. Bond, like those guys, like I get that steroid stuff, but steroids don't make you see a round ball and hit it with a round bat. It just makes the ball go further when you hit it.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different thing.
That is a whole
I
different
do believe. So as purist as I am, I do believe some of those guys should be in the Hall. But before we leave Olympics, I did have to ask Mike. Got a little piece I'm going to call Bunk's Bite, Nick, where I'm going to bitch about something for 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, he's going to bitch about this. I've already heard. So he said, well, hang on. Okay. You've said 30 seconds, but it's been 4 days.
Okay. Because it's really perturbing the shit out of me. And I'm hearing that I only have to deal with it this one Olympic.
Maybe.
So, Mike.
I know what's coming.
Breakdancing. Yeah. What the fuck, man? Are you kidding me?
That was a hard F.
I got to be honest. I tried to watch it.
You never see that.
I tried to watch it, and honestly, it wasn't entertaining for me. And I'm older, but it wasn't entertaining. Number one, and the other thing is, I'm like, okay, this is the Olympics.
The Australian dancer was person lied on the resume.
They all sucked.
Oh, they're terrible. So, so the good thing is. You are not going to have to deal with it going forward.
No, you don't. It's out.
The host country gets a choice. France chose breaking because they couldn't get parkour in, which is the French art of running away. They couldn't get it in.
Oh my god!
So they chose breaking instead. So thankfully,
very diplomatic.
We won't be subject to that again. Now, I do. I may be getting this wrong, but I believe that the Australian breakdancer, the women's breakdancer, I can't remember her last name now. But she has a PhD in break.
Yeah, she also did the Thriller move.
She did indeed do the Thriller.
She was doing the Thriller move,
and
she looked like she was dying on the ground, writhing.
She performed as well as somebody who's an academic in something. That's like saying I got a PhD in baseball stats, and then getting up to bat. That's just different. It's a different thing. Knowing about it's
blown out.
Yeah, and so their regional qualifier, they're like they do continental. I think they do different sections of whatever regionals. And she was in the Oceania, which is Australia, New Zealand, a bunch of other
and
like she was the best one there.
I know. The whole thing was a friggin'. I got it. I try. I honestly, it was on, and I was like, all right, I gotta watch it. I watched 2. I don't know whatever they call them, matches, or I don't know. whatever the hell they call it.
B-boy breakdowns.
Yeah, are you a B-boy?
It was the women that did it.
You're a little bit of a B-boy.
They were B-girls. And I watched it and I was like, again, I grew up in the 70s. I remember watching breakdancers and I was like, holy shit, those guys are good. And I watched them and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's advanced much.
And you know what sucks about it?
There's only so many things you can do spinning on your head.
Spin on your friggin' head. Let's go.
She's getting all the attention when there was like actual super talented people winning at that thing. Like but that's what happens. We're in the meme economy now. That's
Think
what
about
happens,
the very first American Idol. William Hung, most successful human being
absolutely.
from that. Yeah, the Shebang guy.
I know.
Oh yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, he's
One hung?
He's a
One Hung low.
like the other guy, the pistol shooter, the Yusuf Dikec or whatever his name was. The guy,
Yes, that was great.
Oh yeah, the
Silver medal.
Yeah, so Slovenia or something like that.
Somebody said they sent their father to the Olympics. Somebody's dad showed up at the Olympics.
Hey, Dad, you got to go shoot this target. All right,
I'll go do it for the friggin' country. I know, but like so breakdance. I did read that I think boxing is
Gone.
in danger of being out.
It's not.
Which has been
It's not
in there forever.
there. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's quite out.
Yeah, they did.
It's out for LA.
I don't know. It's either boxing or wrestling. One of those is out.
Wrestling was in danger for this Olympics. but
Boxing is the one that's in danger.
Look,
One of them's out for sure.
combat sports guy here. Olympic boxing needs to evolve.
Yeah.
Olympic
Just
boxing needs to evolve.
Let WBB boxers fight it, or
Yes.
WBC. Let the boxers fight in it,
That's exactly.
and don't schedule. I get it that it's a money thing, but don't schedule anything for that year.
Yep.
Let those guys train
Yeah.
and let them come in and box.
Yeah.
Even if it means headgear and rounds, give them headgear and rounds. But I bet half those guys would do it.
No, and honestly, I'm sorry, we don't need headgear. Like we don't need.
You don't need to. And it was
we don't
nice
need-
to see
we don't
that.
need- we
It
don't
was
need
refreshing to see the guys took it off for
Yes.
this. I wish the lady side did that too. It doesn't need
and
to be. And they have
I
big
hate
ass
that kind of
gloves. and-
antiquated stuff. Like, I don't know if are they still fighting with like 16 or 14 ounce gloves? I can't.
They're fighting with bigger gloves
big
for sure.
gloves, and
They're
it's just-
huge.
And like we've seen too much as fight fans. We've seen too much. And then you're also getting into like the sports I'm really a fan of is the fight sports. But like we've seen too much now. I've seen high level boxing for too long to be interested in the
Right.
Olympics anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's basically, and it used to be, like Floyd Mayweather used to like. It was like the minor.
Yeah,
league.
that was
It like the minor
that
league.
was a stepping stone.
It was like that's how you get known.
Nobody does it anymore.
Yeah, and it's what's the value proposition? Same reason there's no push to put baseball back in the Olympics is
There shouldn't because
It's going back in.
yeah. What do you want to do? Pull them out
it
mid-season?
might, but yeah, what?
It's going
Who's
back
going to
in.
play?
WBC.
I don't know. It's stupid.
World Baseball Classic's going to handle anything you get out of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like,
It
that's-
doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think
It doesn't
I
make
read
any
it's going to
sense.
go in. I think lacrosse is going to be in,
Lacrosse is cool.
which will be
I'm fine
cool.
with
I'm
lacrosse.
cool.
So that's a new sport.
I liked a lot of the field
But
sports that they do have.
the boxing, and I agree with it. The boxing back when I was growing up, it was always the United States against the Russians.
Yeah.
And those were those guys that ended up being, heavyweight champs at the end of the day
Absolutely.
and stuff. And so it was actually really interesting.
Yeah, the Klitschko's fought in the Olympics, and that was like a good staging
Yeah.
for.
But now it's I don't know what it is. It wasn't entertaining. I don't even know how well
it looks like a kid's sport now. Watching, it's hard for me to watch Olympic boxing. So it looks like a kid's sport, especially the women's boxing because they're so neutered with the big gloves and the
headgear
and the talent pool for women's and men's is not really there. It doesn't look the same. I just think I keep reiterating, we've seen too much high level fighting. And look, I'm one of these people that also thinks with the proliferation of MMA, why aren't we talking about that as an Olympic sport? Like,
yeah, I think
now the blood
you're doing Muay Thai already.
right. The blood of that sport is already like that. That's going to put the IOC off. They're
Right.
not going to want
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
but the IOC has to evolve IOC boxing
they do.
for it to survive.
Yeah, there's plenty of combat sport options on the table. Like I think it's just asking the IOC to evolve is like
I know.
asking a rock to evolve. Like it's the same thing. Like it's a tough sport, but there are some ones that are really suffering, and I think boxing is one.
Well, I think boxing just in general, I mean, the heyday of boxing is over. MMA is taken. Now, I'm going to be the first. I know you guys are big MMA guys. I haven't really watched very much of it, but boxing is nothing anymore. I mean, it used to be every weekend you'd have, they had these big matches with these high guys, but I don't even know, honestly.
Jake
I have
Paul's
no
the biggest draw in boxing.
He is,
sadly.
the YouTuber guy, and he's actually I think he's pretty good, but it's
he
just
can fight
not
a little, but he's going to get worn out by any real boxer. And he knows that. To his
He
credit,
doesn't fight a real boxer.
To his credit, he knows that.
I mean, he fights a real boxer past their prime.
I give him. You know what? I give him a lot of credit because he promoted himself. He's making a buttload of money.
Yeah. Do you want to be a millionaire or do you want to be legit?
Yeah.
I'll take millionaire.
Yeah, absolutely. But the whole boxing is kind of gone. MMA is just like taking everything over. From what I've seen,
it is. There's still so much old money in boxing. That there's still so many advertiser dollars and so many broadcast deals in boxing that are legacy that put so much money in people's pockets. That's why you know, like washed up MMA fighters go over to boxing.
Right, but the minute they don't have the minute those bigger guys, the heavyweights, that's what boxing's
absolutely
revolves around. The minute one of those
you
heavy,
go to the circus
big,
to see the elephant. That's
right.
Yeah,
the minute one of those guys is like, I'll just do stand up MMA instead.
Yeah,
like they can shoot the gap at whatever. I'll just kick them in the head. But I'm a boxer and I can get in this ring and probably beat that person.
Well, I will say, see James Toney versus Randy Couture though.
Yeah, for real, there is a big gap.
Toney
but if you train on it, right? If you're young, but I'm saying if you're younger,
absolutely,
and you have the body to be a heavyweight, what are you going to pick? The one that's making the money or one that is boxing?
Yeah, and I think that's a calculus that I think a lot of young fighters are making coming up. I would argue like a guy like Ilia Topuria at 145. I think he would have been a world-class boxer. World class. But at that weight class and where he comes from and what the prospects were, it's like, okay.
Right, and the amount of fights he would have to go through to get to the point where he's making the money that he's making in MMA, even being a punching bag.
Yeah, I got to be 22.
It's crazy.
I got to be 22-0 to get a payday.
Right, where I can come here and be 4-0.
Yeah, or
and
4-2.
I'm going to make
or
money.
6-2. I can lose and still make a living doing it.
I'm okay being that stepping stone guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm making money.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a whole host of problems with the pay in MMA, especially in the UFC. Like it's bad as it is, but you could argue a lot of fighters are making that calculus. Like I said, when they're younger, like it's harder because to get into MMA, you have to learn a lot of disciplines instead of just one. But there's also the argument it's easier on your body than boxing is.
But you look at one championship is paying just as much as UFC is.
More in some cases.
And you can do one discipline there.
Yeah, you can.
They have just Muay Thai. They have
grappling.
Mm-hmm. They have MMA if you want to do full mix. They have stand-up kickboxing. They have Muay Thai.
Yeah.
You can pick and make that money.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I'm pretty sure the knockout bonus is $50,000 in one.
Is. And if one can penetrate the US market,
which they're starting to do,
it would be really good.
There's another one in Denver coming up real soon.
I know. And I'd love to go to a one live show. I really would. Especially the 4-ounce glove Muay Thai is just my jam, man. Like,
but the fighting seems more leveled.
Yeah, it is. And I think in the lower weight classes, they have some of the better talent. I think that in a lot of,
especially on the Muay Thai side, it's unbelievable.
A lot of MMA heads would probably, like people that are really, really into it, that's not controversial to say that ONE FC has really good talent, especially like 125 to 155, like really good talent that compete on par with UFC, but just not the public perception. The UFC is the league. The UFC is the NFL right now.
Because I'll tell you what, Dana White knows how to promote.
Yeah, absolutely.
The man knows how to promote. And
absolutely.
I'll tell you, one of the smartest things he ever did was partner with ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
And doing all their pay-per-views there instead of through HBO.
Oh, yeah.
So smart.
And and that ESPN deal has been messy for the consumer. It's really hard to get a good pay-per-view.
It's unbelievably hard to get it.
It's really hard to do, but still, you're right. The weight of being attached to ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
The people that are watching you even on your undercards where it's not pay-per-view, you're making bank on those because of advertising dollars.
Well, and his whole model has been that people are not watching a fighter. They're watching the UFC.
Right.
They're watching this sport happen. They're not watching the exceptions to the rule. Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Conor McGregor. Those are the people that broke it, and they have big enough personalities. And
Izzy's getting there, too.
Close. He fights this weekend, too.
Izzy's getting there.
I think if he loses this weekend, I think that train is officially done, and he's just another top middleweight. I really do. I think... I don't know. But he was, and Sean O'Malley, you could argue. Sean O'Malley's got a chance to.
Patty,
Patty may be the next one.
Because of his personality.
Yes. And he comes across as a good dude to people. People
know who that is?
How do you? No, I don't know. I actually don't know much about it.
I know.
Yeah, no, he's a Scouser from Liverpool.
He's good.
He sounds like the Beatles when he talks, if that helps. Like he sounds like Paul McCartney when he was 20.
He won a fight when he was 14.
Yeah.
Against like 20-something-year-old dude.
Oh, wow.
And that's how this is coming up now.
Immediately sends out a message to Dana White. Hello, Mr. White. I'm a 14-year-old from Liverpool. We'll be doing business soon.
Yep.
And he did.
He did one of those guys. And now that's the crazy thing is kids are training. They're not training like boxing and then learning wrestling and then learning jiu-jitsu. They're going to MMA academies.
Oh, yeah.
They're just learning all of it as an integrated
crazy.
sport now.
Yep.
And that generation of kids coming up now is if you're a guy like, I started off in Muay Thai and then I learned to defend takedowns. It's like, sorry, you're not going to live you're not making this generation.
That's so funny. I would have when the MMA stuff first came out, I would have told you it was never going to make it. It just didn't seem to me like
I think we were all that way.
It was never because
it was a circus sideshow.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this stuff? But so you guys both have teenagers. Are like the younger kids? Are they into that MMA stuff?
Not
my oldest is.
My oldest is not so much, but I know his friends are. Because I see the way they wrestle and fight with each other when they post videos of them fighting and stuff, like, wrestling friendly with each other. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are trying to do the stuff you're seeing. Like, and like, so yeah, some of them are fans of it. Much more cultural awareness than we had, like in our generation.
Yeah.
Way more.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because it was a circus sideshow when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And it was like, you
had
to like go to Blockbuster and go to like a special section in the back where they had like UFC 1 on a VHS or whatever and like bring it home and like, oh my God, I think I'm going to be sick. I can see the inside of that guy's nose. Like that is.
Yeah, I honestly never. I was like, why in the hell are these guys? They're just beating the crap out of each other with no like.
Back then, so much different than now, though.
Oh yeah,
it's evolved so much to be more. Like back then, it was obviously
no rounds.
There's no rules and rounds, but and it was obvious. Like yes, they have some knowledge of these disciplines. Yes, they've been training, but really, what we're in this ring to do is. Like blood.
We want to see blood.
Yeah. Now it's technical and it's calculated and they take their time to figure out their end.
I haven't checked it out in a long time.
And now guys are building a career instead of it being one night where I can make 5K.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're fighting to have a career, so it's a lot less reckless.
I have to give it another look. See, I was telling Pick, I was telling the boys that if Tyson fights Jake Paul, I hate this too, but I got to buy it. I got to see that.
The whole thing is crazy. It's supposed to be November now.
It's another circus sideshow.
It is an absolute sideshow.
Nobody's knocking each other out in that fight.
Right, but you pay for it to hope that Tyson knocks him out.
You do.
I got to watch it. And I haven't watched boxing in forever, but it's just like, oh, okay. I'm going to spend the money and do it. I hate to say it. I used to do the Tyson fights when he was like, you guys
used to be so mad about it though because
he would knock you guy out in like 30 seconds. Like holy shit!
He was so goddamn good.
We'd have a party, have people over, and like, oh, we're done. What the hell just happened?
Well, you could tell people exactly when the party was over. Then
oh my god,
yeah, it'll be done at 12:01.
At the age I am now, that sounds great. That everybody leaves early.
Yes,
that sounds fantastic.
Well, it's a little different now.
Cool, it's over. You guys get out of here.
I know.
Do you ever bet MMA? I know you.
I don't. Yeah. I don't bet in MMA.
It's hard, dude.
It is hard because there's so many variables.
Yes,
anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah,
it's just takes one bad day, and
truly true.
Your career's over.
Yeah, like it's less like the chess match of football or like the clear talent stacking of baseball or even like clear talent difference in basketball. Like you can sort of like make some not sure things, but like you can figure out trends a lot better. MMA is tough, man. The way to bet it, in my opinion, is just prop bets. Is just try to get payouts on props and try to find
the knockouts first round, or don't bet on
a person
unless it's like a historic McGregor run. Then you put your money on McGregor.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people made some serious money during that run at featherweight.
Yeah, absolutely. They lost it on that last one.
They did.
But they made so much before that.
Yeah, and I told you before we started recording, I've been like snake bit on betting, and MMA is one of the places where I've been taking an absolute dive. I
just can't do it. It's too volatile. It's too hard to pinpoint how to make money in it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, you just have to, you have to hedge yourself. You just have to,
You do.
If you're running a parlay, you have to make sure you have something that balances that out on the other end. Like you do it all with prop bets. Like if you run a parlay in MMA, like I mean, even with no money on the line, I'd be hard pressed to say, yeah, I'm for sure these 3 people are going to win. Or not for sure, but like I can't even say I'm 60% sure.
No, you are.
Because head kicks are in the game.
Yes. Yes. Like, especially when you go to 1 and knees are allowed on the ground.
Yeah. It's like if you
to the head.
If you go down for too long in the wrong position, you'll catch a knee to the dome.
Yeah, you'll go to sleep. You're going to sleep.
But you were so much better than the other guy. Didn't matter.
Yeah, well, now you're taking a nap.
His head was right there. Yeah. No, you should though. You should give it a shot.
So it's just I don't want to lose money.
You should pick some for UFC 305.
I make safe bets, Mike. I know when I go to play poker night, I'm taking your money.
Right.
I know. I know. In daily fantasy, I can follow trends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot. MMA, I can't do it.
Before I come back, I want you to bet on an MMA fight. I want you to bet a prop bet on an MMA fight.
We'll see.
I want to see what it was. I think you should do UFC 305 this weekend.
We'll see.
I think you should do your research. Do your thing. Do what
no, because you're signing me up for a lot when it's the first week of school for the kids.
That's true. And maybe that'll be better for you. Maybe less research is better. Maybe just coin flip this bitch.
That's what it'll end up being anyways.
Just coin flip this bitch, That's all you need.
Love it.
Very cool. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. It was
Absolutely.
It's definitely a pleasure. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to it. But I'd love to ask you before we head out, just go around the table. And is there anything sports-wise you're looking forward to this coming week or next couple of weeks that's exciting for you?
Well, Olympics are over, so the world of the weird is going down a little bit, unfortunately. I just mentioned it, UFC 305 this weekend. There's, I haven't watched a full card in a while. I'm really going to make some time to do that because, we're back to the normal rhythm of life, and we're not doing baseball right now, so my weekends are back, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm really just looking forward to the main card, but actually sitting down and watching some of that. I want to watch Izzy fight. I want to see how he bounces back. Against Dragos Duplessis, I think that's a really, really hard fight for him. I'm excited to see how that plays out. I'm not like an Izzy fan, but I'd like to see him win. I'd like to see him get back in the win column, get the belt back, because I think the division's better with him in it. So I'm looking forward with him on the top of it. I think it's more fun with him up there, all of his weirdness and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to crack a strawberry limerita, just a giant one, and just maybe sit. Well, I can't sit in the hot tub because I'll die. Because it's 103.
Don't do a hot tub.
Don't do a hot
horrible
tub
idea
with alcohol. Don't do it right now. Probably not a good idea.
We're not the smartest when it comes to life decisions. I can tell you that right now, just from the fun nights we've had. But that's a horrible decision, my friend. Don't do it. There would probably
be an in memoriam on the podcast next time if I did that.
Well, everyone, we got bad news.
All right, I'll keep it indoors. I'll keep it indoors with a strawberry and UFC.
There we go. Before I go to Bunk over here, why don't you plug your socials, everything for the people to check out?
I'm going to put a lot of pressure on myself because I've just, I'm in the process of rebuilding this website, but I'm going to have it up by the time that this comes out. I promise. It's MikeBeech.com. There we go. MikeBeech.com. It'll have my stuff on there. And then if you want to find me on socials, it's Mike Beech on TikTok. And then it's on Instagram. It's Beech with 9 E's because I'm lazy. And I kept putting the letter E until it let me make my last name.
I like it.
Oh my God.
Beech with 9 E's.
All right, we'll put them in. We'll put them in the show notes too.
Oh yeah, perfect.
All right, Bunk over there. What are you looking forward to sports wise?
I'm actually getting pretty pumped and ready for the football season.
Awesome.
I can't do preseason NFL. I got to be honest.
You can do the first quarter of preseason NFL. I can't. But past that,
it's almost like football.
It's but we're
patty cake.
We're close. We're close. We're close to the NCAA kickoffs. And we were talking just a little while ago, you can literally watch from 11 a.m. to like 11 p.m. if you start watching the weird West Coast games.
You can burn a lot of daylight with college football.
You can.
Love every minute of it.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the NFL. I'm Charger guy. I think I'm going to be a Charger guy this year.
So what other 12 teams are
Jets, Giants,
okay,
Chargers.
Jets, Giants, Chargers.
I do like a lot of football teams.
And baseball teams.
No, I'm a Yankee guy.
Yeah, you got your main teams.
I do.
But then the minute they go bad, you bandwagon.
I'm a Harbaugh guy. I only to one Harbaugh. I don't like the other. I hate the Ravens. So
everybody's got to have one.
I'm a West Coast Harbaugh guy.
You guys didn't ask my favorite football team, by the way.
What's your favorite football team?
The Dallas Cowgirls.
No, I was born in Dallas.
Yeah, I already knew that.
I don't claim them, but it's like I was born there, so I have to.
You and Suburban Bourbon Burn, my friend.
God, man,
you and Luke.
If there was any other way. I've considered change. I tried on Cleveland Browns for a while. I tried it on.
Ugh.
It's a bad fit. It's gross.
Did you enjoy your massage while you were?
No, it came from a lot of weird angles.
Yeah, a lot of hands.
That's all right for the Dolphins. I mean, I still like the Dolphins. I grew up in Florida a little bit too, so I'm a Dolphin guy. I don't know why. I actually went to high school. I've been here forever. I just never kind of.
I liked the Oilers were cool. And
I
then
liked
they left.
the Oilers when Earl was playing.
Earl was awesome.
I just was never a Dallas Cowboy guy. I think honestly, it's because they were just so in your face back in the day. They were America's team and all that stuff. I was like, you know what? My family's from up in New York. I'm going Giants.
There you go.
And they won a couple times in like way long time ago.
90s.
No
That's been a long
way.
time now.
Yeah, Eli will be in the Hall of Fame here first ballot though. FYI.
Yowzers.
All right, what you got coming?
Big weekend this weekend.
What is it?
It's the start of the Premier League. Soccer's back.
That's right.
You are a soccer guy.
European soccer is back, so I'm really excited to watch Chelsea get absolutely murdered by Manchester City
Yep.
in the first game. The best team in the world is playing my favorite team, so that's going to be rough. But after that, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. It's the prospect of a good year where they'll end up being
It's just now starting? Again?
7th to 10th. Yeah.
Wow.
First games.
Seems like they've been playing the whole time.
So you have the national team stuff that happened.
Yeah.
This is club football, so
Okay.
they're going back to their team. So like Chelsea,
Gotcha.
Liverpool,
Gotcha.
Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah. So that starts this weekend. Very cool. A lot of cool storylines. I love European football just because there's consequences to being bad. You don't beat in the league anymore. You don't get to be in the league
that's
anymore.
kinda
So it'll be fun to watch the bottom as well this year.
All right. I'll be a Chelsea guy since I visited I visited the stadium. We were in London.
Oh, nice.
On the trip. So now I got to be a Chelsea guy.
What's the name of the stadium though?
Something Bridge. Long
Stamford Bridge. Hey, I'll tell you what. You remembered Bridge. That's more than I ever thought you would have. Well, everyone, if you're enjoying this, please give us a rating. Drop a comment on whatever site you're listening to this on. You can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can also send in questions via email to bunkandpickpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll put it all in the notes.
Put it all in the notes. We do have a couple listener emails that we will address next week.
Okay.
We
do have an angry beaver coming in next week.
Oh, yeah, we do got
Coming in hot.
Angry James Franklin Beaver.
Oh, boy.
Next week.
Okay.
But thank you all so much for listening. And as always, when we have a guest, you got to lead us out with the famous saying. All right, everybody, we're.
I'm warming up. Sorry, I had to warm the tongue up. Cue me in. I'm ready.
All right, everybody, we're rolling balls. That boy, Mike.
See you guys next time.
Nick,
Thank
your
you
big
all.
blind.
All right. Bye.